The purpose of this presentation is to go over some of the best practices and recommended code of conduct. What we discovered over the last 3.5 years is driver companions who exhibit certain behavior and do certain things are being requested more and more by the clients that we serve, which is a win for the driver companions because they're getting more business, and it is a win for the client because they're being served by kind, compassionate people, and it's a win for Envoy America because we are delighting our clients. Some of the findings over the last years that has helped the driver companions get more business and being requested more frequently by the clients is the way they dress. As you all know, Envoy America serves the elderly and the infirm. In general, the elderly population, they tend to be more conservative, they tend to be more reserved, and if somebody's dressed more professionally, they make the client feels more comfortable. Again, it is a recommendation. It's up to you how you dress. The communication style and how you engage the client in conversation also leads to more requests by the client for the driver companion. Keep in mind that the population that we serve, they tend to be lonely. Sometimes the driver companion is the first and only person that they've talked to all day. And if you carry a intelligent conversation with them and you make it all about them by engaging them in small talk and get them to talk about themselves, as in what did they do before retiring, where did they live, assuming it's all appropriate, then that can keep the client or make the client happy, which will translate into more business for you. Even though it's not a requirement for you as a driver companion to call the client the day before to confirm the appointment and to introduce yourself, but the ones that call, they find that they put the client at ease, they make the client feel comfortable, they, at a minimum, the client knows who's coming to pick them up, and they've heard the voice, which makes it easier for everybody. And the last thing is wearing a badge and proper identification can help very much so. It gives the feeling that the person is working for a company versus being just any person that's coming to provide service to them. It's also very critical in a situation where you're going into a hospital or a medical facility or a senior living community. Instead of you just walking in without any proper identification or a badge, having a badge with your name on it and the company name, that also delights the client and you as a driver companion, you get more requests for you to provide the service. Again, these are best practices based on delivering tens of thousands of trips and looking at the data to see why some driver companions are being requested more frequently than other driver companions. Some of the things that we ask everybody, including our own employees and you as an independent contractor, driver companion, not to do include engaging in sexual discussions with your client, making any sexual comments, or engaging in any sexual discussion if they start that conversation. If they offer you any controlled substances, alcohol, medication, we ask you to not accept it and not offer it to the client as well. That puts you at risk, that puts the client at risk, and that puts the company at risk. The other thing is there's no cash transactions. Everything is done either via credit card or via invoices for corporate clients. So we ask you not to solicit or accept money from the clients. It goes without saying that using alcohol, narcotics, controlled substances, or being under the influence while providing the service is something that cannot be tolerated and is not accepted. We encourage you not to eat or drink while operating the vehicle, to keep your both hands on the steering wheel, and that can put everybody at ease, and it's also safer for everybody that's involved in providing the service. Smoking, including electronic cigarettes or smokeless tobacco, is prohibited. We ask you not to do it. And when you're driving and providing service, we ask you that you do not use any headphones. You do not speak on the phone unless it's safe to do so. It goes without saying that texting and driving or responding to emails is also an act or a behavior that is not accepted and should not be done. Lastly, we ask you and we encourage you, but it's up to you to do this, when you are providing the service and you arrive at a location or when you get to the client's house, you exit the vehicle, you open the door, you close the door. If somebody's using a wheelchair or a walker, you stow that wheelchair or the walker. You have to introduce yourself, especially if you go into a business, versus picking somebody up at the curb. The clients that need help with seating and fastening the seat belt, we encourage you to do so. There's a training video that talks about how to do this. We ask you to follow the recommendations in that training video. We ask you that before you start moving and operating the vehicle, make sure that everybody, including yourself, are properly secured. Everybody has their seat belt on. The wheelchair or the walker are safely secured in the trunk. The trunk is closed. And lastly, we encourage you to keep your car clean. We encourage you to keep yourself in a professional appearance in the way you dress, the way you interact with the client. And again, to reiterate, based on providing tens of thousands of trips, the ones that follow these guidelines and recommendations are the ones who are getting more and more requests and are making more and more income by providing service. If you have any questions or you need additional information, please feel free to contact our dispatch operations team at 480-584-5894. We thank you and all the best.